Good morning. So, continuing with the second unit, last class we discussed regarding exploratory research. So, today we will going to the second method, that is conclusive research design. So, what is exactly the conclusive research design? So, if you see the name, that is telling that conclusion. Okay. So, it's all about the finding. Okay. Once you do your research, you will get some findings. They are practically useful in reaching conclusion or decision making. You will get some results, you will analyze it, and you give some conclusion. So that is called conclusive research design. So in this type of studies, research objectives and data requirement need to be clearly defined. Okay. So the every project report of, if you are doing MBA, so in MBA third semester completing, when you go for the project report, summer internship we call it. So then you have to select a topic, then we have to select the problem we say, then you have to come up with the objectives and what type of data requirements or data you are going to analyze. So that has to be clearly defined. Findings of conclusive study usually have specific uses. So it depends. So what exactly conclusive design gives? So it provides information that helps the execute make a rational decision, because you will get a conclusion through which you can take some rational decisions. So it is the research designed to assist the decision maker in determining, evaluating, and selecting the best course of action to take in a given situation. So there will be several alternative actions which you can select. But out of those all, after evaluating, you have to select the best one. Okay, so select the best one. The conclusive research will give you the answer for it, so that you can take a proper decision on which you can determine, evaluate, and select it. Information needed is clearly defined. Whatever you are going through, everything is properly designed, defined in advance itself. The research process is a formal and structured, and findings are used as input to decision making. So after doing all the research or analysis, you will find some the what do you call the question which you have decided and objective which you have prepared or designed. According to that, how the questions which you have prepared, so you will get some findings. So through those findings, the organization or the main person who is looking for the research can take some decisions on that. So conclusion uses statistical test, advanced analytical techniques, and large sample size compared with the exploratory studies. Because exploratory is initial studies to explore something before going to the main study. But here you are using the statistical test. Okay. Advanced analytical techniques will be used and larger sample size will be there. So conclusive research is more likely to use quantitative rather than qualitative data, because to analyze the statistical test, you require a quantitative data rather than the qualitative techniques. So in conclusive research, we have two types. One is a descriptive, another one is casual or experimental. So first we will look to the casual research. So the investigation into an issue or topic that looks at the effect of one thing or variable on another. So what exactly we are studying here is issue or a topic. Okay. And effect of one thing or one variable on another variable. So studying this we call casual research. If you look at the example, casual research might be used in a business environment to quantify the effect that a change to its present operations will have future production levels to assist in business planning process. Okay, so every business has its own environment, and here they want to quantify what effect a change of the present operations condition which our business is going on. So what impact will have in the future production levels. So to assess this, the casual research can be done. And another example, if a clothing company currently sells blue denim jeans, okay, and casual research can measure the impact of the company changing the product design to the color white. So blue denim obviously preferred earlier. Jeans means the blue, the denim means blue. So nowadays you can find a different colors in that white and all those. But what will the impact of that studying that is can be done through casual research. So following the research, company bosses will be able to decide whether changing the color of the jeans to white would be profitable. So that has to be decided on the basis of trend going and trend setter, what impact will have. So the researcher can do that study. Casual research has two objectives. First is the understanding which variable are the cause and which variable are the effect. So you should understand both things. Okay. So with we have already known that what is cause and effect. Okay. So what is causing and what effect is coming up. So determining the nature of the relationship between the casual variable and the effect predicted. So this is the two objectives which will be seen in casual research. So the conditions of causality. Uh, First is concomitant variation. So what is exactly this? So when two variables occur or vary together, okay, together occur, either they are occurring or they are varying together. It is one of the conditions that has to be met in order to infer a causal relationship. So time order of occurrence. So conditions state that the causing event must occur either before or simultaneously with the effect. Okay, it should happen before the effect and or simultaneously. So it cannot occur afterward. So that is called the time of occurrence. Next is the absence of other causal factor that also the condition might happen. And kinds of variables here are, first is independent variable. So independent variable is that which can be manipulated or which is not having impact of other things. For example, if I say to easily understand you, so your age is independent variable. Okay, whatever you eat, whatever you wear, or whatever clothes you take, or whatever foods, ingredients, proteins, whatever you take, but it is not going to get stopped, not increased. Okay, it will go independently. The age is independent variable. Next is the dependent variable, so which is dependent on something. Okay, where the matter is dependent on something, and because of that, you will find some changes on it. So that will become a dependent variable. And next is the extraneous variable. So here, any variable that you are not investigating that can potentially affect the outcomes of your research study. So when you are deciding the variables, independent or dependent variables, some variable if you have missed in your research, but they are going to affect your outcome of your research study. So those variables are called extraneous variables. Next comes is the descriptive research. So why do we use descriptive research? Okay, so here that we have seen in the first unit itself that descriptive research is all about the describe. Okay, and to describe the characteristic we use, to estimate percentage of unit, okay, to determine perception of product characteristics which is having, to determine degree to which variables are associated with, how much degree it is. So for this reason, we go for the descriptive research. And if you look at the methods of descriptive research, so one we can do is analyzing the secondary data, which has already been collected. Either we can go for the survey method that we have already been discussed, or else we can go with the panels. We can set the panels through which we can get the result, or we can go with the observational data. And next is comes is the longitudinal research. Okay, so what longitudinal? I think I have already explained you this. This is our getting. It's all about an observation. Okay, so where we are doing it for the longer time. Okay, so a longitudinal research is an observation. So in this, the researcher do not interfere with the subject. Just it leave it. So here researchers conduct several observations on the same subject over a period of time. So a fixed example of population element is measured repeatedly on the same variable. The population is not going to change and variable is the same over here. Now, if you look at the advantages of it, so incident events are recorded. So we can record the incident variable, whichever are happening. Measurement of industrial change in the outcomes, so that you can study with it. Accuracy and large amount of data collection can be done with the log-NT test, because the population is same and you are going to study the same variable. Disadvantages: representative of sampling and response bias that always might happen. The sampling which we are selecting, that also plays an important role, so that will be the disadvantage. Next comes is the cross-sectional research. So here research is used to examine one variable in different groups that are similar in all other characteristics. So what are those? Obviously, the socio-economic status, what we are having. We can say the salary level, the income level, or the middle class, lower class, upper class, and different socio-economic status what we have. Educational background and ethnicity. Okay, so these are similar in all characteristics that can be studied. So cross-sectional research studies are based on observation that take place in different groups at one time. So we are studying different groups, but the variable is going to remain the same. That is one variable. So there is no experimental procedure here. So no variables are manipulated. Manipulated means the changing. If we can increase the value or decrease the value, that is called manipulation. So instead of performing an experiment, you would simply record the information that you observe in the groups you are examining. Okay, here you don't do any experiment. Just simply what you do is you record the information that you observe in the groups you are examining. So the benefit of cross-sectional study design are that it allows researchers to compare many different variables at the same time. That can be done. So if you look at the types of cross-sectional, so all have the following characteristic: take place at a single point of time for all the group 1, group 2, group 3, whichever, and all are compared at one time. Variables are not manipulated by researchers, that are going to remain the same. The value will be the same. Provide information only, do not answer why this has happened. So this is the information, but why this has happened, there will be no any answer over there. And it has two things. One is single cross-sectional and another one is multi cross-sectional. So when we look at a single cross-sectional, so it involves the collection of information from any given sample of population elements only one time. So that is single cross-sectional design. So one sample of respondent is drawn from the target population, not multiple. So information is obtained from this sample is at once. So sample survey research design. When we come to the multiple cross-sectional designs, two or more samples of the respondents will be taken. Information from each sample is obtained only once. Okay, so sample can be collected two or more respondents, but there we were going for only one respondent. Information from different samples is obtained at different times over long intervals. Comparison at the aggregate level, but not at the individual respondent level, because here we are going for two or more samples. But when it comes to the single cross-sectional, only one person, one sample respondent from the whole population. Now, where you see this especially, so every day, so used for demographic information and analysis, age or all this factor, gender. Mass media use cross-sectional studies on current issues which are going on, and newspaper articles. So there the cross-sectional and single cross-sectional is studied. If you look at advantages, uncovers a relationship that can be studied further in experimental studies. Researchers with different interests and models can often work with data from single cross-sectional study. Using multivariate analysis allow researchers to obtain information on the influence of variables on one another. So these three things can be done. These things are the advantages of it. Now, disadvantages: cannot measure change in variables over time, one-time data collection, inappropriate for demonstrating causal relationship between them. Researchers have little to no control over environment. So researchers may be unable to rule out alternative explanation. Weak implementation can ruin a good design and produce a poor data at the end. So these are the advantages and disadvantages of cross-sectional data.